Hey yo, what is poppin'? It's your boy Whiteout in quantum computing. Let's talk about it real quick. Do you guys know what quantum computing is? Because quantum computing is so out of this world and it is so uncomprehendable that it's like, how do you even grasp that? How do you grasp that? So today, we're going to be answering the question with this video, Quantum Computers Explained. Limits of human technology. Let's lock in. It's time to get 1% smarter.
For most of our history, human technology consisted of our brains, fire, and sharp sticks. While fire and sharp sticks became power plants and nuclear weapons, the biggest upgrade has happened to our brains. Since the 1960s, the power of our brain machines has kept growing exponentially, allowing computers to get smaller and more powerful at the same time. But this process is about to meet its physical limits. Computer parts are approaching the size of an atom. To understand why this is a problem, we have to clear up some basics.
Gotta clear up them basics. Let's lock in. Let's go.
A computer is made up of very simple components doing very simple things, representing data, the means of processing it, and control mechanisms. Computer chips contain modules, which contain logic gates, which contain transistors.
I'm already lost. I'm not gonna lie. Circuit chip equals basic modules equals logic gates equals transistors. Okay, I'm back in.
Transistor is the simplest form of a data processor in computers, basically a switch that can either block or open the way for information coming through.
That makes sense.
This information is made up of bits, which can be set to either 0 or 1.
0 or 1, got it.
Combinations of several bits are used to represent more complex information. Transistors are combined to create logic gates, which still do very simple stuff. For example, an AND gate sends an output of 1 if all of its inputs are 1, and an output of 0 otherwise. Combinations of logic gates finally form meaningful modules, say for adding two numbers. Once you can add, you can also multiply, and once you can multiply, you can basically do anything. Since all basic operations are literally simpler than first-grade math, you can imagine a computer as a group of 7-year-olds answering really basic math questions. A large enough bunch of them could compute anything from astrophysics to Zelda. However, with parts getting tinier and tinier, quantum physics are making things tricky. In a nutshell, a transistor is just an electric switch. Electricity is electrons moving from one place to another, so a switch is a passage that can block electrons from moving in one direction. Today, a typical scale for transistors is 14 nanometers, which is about 8 times less than the HIV virus's diameter and 500 times smaller than a red blood cell's.
It's that
As
small?
transistors are shrinking to the size of only a few atoms, electrons may just transfer themselves to the other side of a blocked passage via a process called quantum tunneling. In the quantum realm, physics works quite differently from the predictable ways we're used to, and traditional computers just stop making sense. We are approaching a real physical barrier for our technological progress. To solve this problem, scientists are trying to use these unusual quantum properties to their advantage by building quantum computers. In normal computers, bits are the smallest units of information. Quantum computers use qubits, which can also be set to one of two values. A qubit can be any two-level quantum system, such as a spin in a magnetic field or a single photon. 0 and 1 are this system's possible states, like the photon's horizontal or vertical polarization. In the quantum world,
Why can there only be 2 bits? Why can't you do more than 2 bits? Why does it limit you to 2 bits? What if we had 4 bits? What if we had 3 bits? Like, does anybody know? Does anybody understand that? Because, like, I just don't understand why it's only 2 bits. I know, like, because photos are made up of zeros and ones, right? Like, that's what they say is, like, you know, you think about it like the Matrix, right? He starts seeing everything in zeros and ones. And it makes sense, but at the same time, why is it only 0 and 1s? That's what I don't understand.
the qubit doesn't have to be in just one of those, it can be in any proportions of both states at once. This is called superposition. But as soon as you test its value, say by sending the photon through a filter, it has to decide to be either vertically or horizontally polarized. So as long as it's unobserved, the qubit is in a superposition of probabilities for 0 and 1, and you can't predict which it will be. But the instant you measure it, it collapses into one of the definite states. Superposition is a game changer. 4 classical bits can be in one of 2 to the power of 4 different configurations at a time. That's 16 possible combinations, out of which you can use just one. 4 qubits in superposition, however, can be in all of those 16 combinations at once. This number grows exponentially with each extra qubit. 20 of them can already store 1,000,000 values in parallel.
Damn. How do people make this? Like, how do they know, like, yo, let's do this? What drives a human to be like, yo, let's do this? Like, I don't understand technology to begin with, right? I don't understand how you take nothing and make a smartphone. But not only how you take nothing to make a smartphone, then you make it be able to look up Google. And then you make it be able to look up YouTube. I don't understand that part. I don't understand wireless internet. I don't understand that either. But it's like, it's like, now it's like, okay, now we're going to get to the quantum realm. We're on some Ant-Man stuff. Like, what?
A really weird and unintuitive property qubits can have is entanglement, a close connection that makes each of the qubits react to a change in the other's state instantaneously, no matter how far they are apart. This means that when measuring just one entangled qubit, you can directly deduce properties of its partners without having to look. Qubit manipulation is a mind bender as well. A normal logic gate gets a simple set of inputs and produces one definite output. A quantum gate manipulates an input of superpositions, rotates probabilities, and produces another superposition as its output. So a quantum computer sets up some qubits, applies quantum gates to entangle them and manipulate probabilities, and finally measures the outcome, collapsing superpositions to an actual sequence of zeros and ones. What this means is that you get the entire lot of calculations that are possible with your setup all done at the same time. Ultimately, you can only measure one of the results, and it will only probably be the one you want, so you may have to double-check and try again. But by cleverly exploiting superposition and entanglement, this can be exponentially more efficient than would ever be possible on a normal computer. So while quantum computers will probably not replace our home computers, in some areas they are vastly superior. One of them is database searching. To find something in a database, a normal computer may have to test every single one of its entries. Quantum algorithms need only the square root of that time, which for large databases is a huge difference. The most famous use of quantum computers is ruining IT security. Right now, your browsing, email, and banking data is being kept secure by an encryption system in which you give everyone a public key to encode messages only you can decode. The problem is that this public key can actually be used to calculate your secret private key. Luckily, doing the necessary math on any normal computer would literally take years of trial and error. But a quantum computer with exponential speedup could do it in a breeze. Another really exciting new...
So quantum computers can just hack all your stuff, is what they're saying, within a matter of seconds. What it would normally take somebody, let's say, a month to a year to do, this is doing it in seconds. That is insane. Have you seen the size of a quantum computer? That's another thing to talk about. The size of a quantum computer is humongous, dude. That's gigantic and humongous together. Like, come on. That is crazy how big they are. They're like the size of a chandelier if a chandelier was massive. Like, oh my God. I heard something recently about that they were able to do time travel using, maybe not using a quantum computer, but finding out stuff, and they were able to go back 1 second. I don't know if that's real. Let me know if you guys heard about that, and if that's real. I saw it on TikTok, so it's probably not real. But at the same time, that'd be really cool if it was real. I'm just throwing it out there. Even 1 second, because technically if they make time travel, that means time travel is made now. Unless if it only can go back 1 second. I don't know how it works.
Use is simulations. Simulations of the quantum world are very intense on resources, and even for bigger structures, such as molecules, they often lack accuracy. So why not simulate quantum physics with actual quantum physics? Quantum simulations could provide new insights on proteins that might revolutionize medicine. Right now, we don't know if quantum computers will be just a very specialized tool or a big revolution for humanity. We have no idea where the limits of technology are, and there's only one way to find out. This video is...
So, my whole thing is, right, with quantum computers, is it something that we're going to actually be able to purchase? And people have said that in the past with other stuff, though. They've been like, oh, you know, our computer's something we're going to be able to purchase, right? I'm sure when cars came out, they were like, are those going to be something we're able to purchase, right? But, like, is it going to be like the first amount that come out are going to be like large quantities that are multi-millions of dollars that everybody's like not going to be able to buy, maybe the top 1%, and then finally like they drop in price and then like, everybody else is able to buy them? Or is it going to be something where they're going to be able to make it cheap? I doubt they're going to be able to make it cheap. And like, would they want standard people to have that? Like, those are the other questions. It's just like, I don't know if it's one of those things that will be extremely beneficial to like an everyday person rather than like a huge large company or medical research and stuff like that. It's a very interesting. Quantum computing is very next level. It is very next level. This is only like probably the tip of the iceberg with quantum computing. It is pretty insane. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any ideas or anything about quantum computing that you know that you want to share, write them in the comments. I would love to read about it. But with that being said, thank you guys so much. If you guys haven't already, absolutely smash that like button. Honestly, it's pretty cringy if you haven't. I mean, I'm not upset at you, but come on. Don't make me quantum compute you to have to do this, right? It's okay. You can do it in a matter of 1 second, as fast as a quantum computer. And that is hitting that subscribe button, because if you haven't, what are you doing, bro? Just subscribe, join the Whiteout Army. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.